All right, let's jump right into one of the most intense scenes in all of Shakespeare. We're going inside Act 3, Scene 2 of Romeo and Juliet. Now, this scene is an absolute masterclass in emotional whiplash. In just a handful of minutes, Juliet goes from pure ecstasy to the absolute depths of despair. And we're going to track every single one of those heart-wrenching turns.
So, the scene kicks off with these words from Juliet. She's just secretly married Romeo, and she is practically vibrating with excitement for their wedding night. And just think about what that line means. She's bought the mansion of a love, but she hasn't gotten the keys yet. It's the perfect description of having everything you've ever wanted right there, just out of reach.
And this all happens during her wedding night soliloquy. We meet her here at this absolute peak of happiness. She is just filled with impatience, hope, and this incredible passionate love for her new husband. I mean, listen to this language. She's calling for the sun's fiery-footed steeds to race across the sky and bring on a loving, black-browed night. Her words are just overflowing with this poetic urgency. She literally wants the world to just go dark so she and Romeo can finally be alone, hidden from everyone. It's just this beautiful picture of pure joy. And this is where it gets really beautiful, right? Look at how she connects Romeo to the night. For Juliet, darkness isn't something to be afraid of. No, it's the safe place where their love is allowed to exist. And Romeo, he's the light inside that darkness. He is her day in night. It's such a powerful way to show us how he's become the center of her entire universe. But of course, this is a tragedy. So just when we're right there with Juliet at the height of her happiness, the mood just slams to a halt. The nurse walks in, a complete mess, and the whole scene just shatters, kicking off this terrible misunderstanding. The nurse is so upset she can barely get the words out. She's just wailing, "He's dead, he's dead, he's dead," over and over. But, and this is key, she never says a name. It's this chaotic, confusing delivery that really lights the fuse for what comes next. So, what's the first thing Juliet thinks? I mean, where else would her mind go? The only he that matters in her world right now is Romeo. So her brain leaps to the most horrifying conclusion possible. Her brand new husband has killed himself. And this lays out the tragic mix-up so clearly. This is classic dramatic irony. We, the audience, know exactly what's going on, but Juliet has no idea. She thinks she's hearing that her husband is dead when the nurse is actually talking about her cousin, Tybalt. And that gap between what she thinks and what's real is just agonizing to watch. So, believing Romeo is dead, Juliet just collapses. Her world completely ends in a single moment. She calls her heart a bankrupt, totally broke, because it's lost the only thing that had any value. It's just total and complete despair. But then, the real truth finally stumbles out. And honestly, it's even more complicated and confusing. The nurse finally clarifies. It's Tybalt who is dead, and Romeo, her husband, is the one who killed him. And for that crime, he's been banished. Now, to process this impossible news, Shakespeare does something brilliant. He gives Juliet some of the most famous oxymorons ever written. An oxymoron is just when you smash two words together that totally contradict each other, and it's the perfect way to show a mind that's at war with itself. Just listen to these. How can someone be a beautiful tyrant, or a fiend angelical, a dove-feathered raven? Every single one is a paradox. She's trying to make these two completely opposite ideas fit together. The perfect husband she loves is also a killer. Her brain is just short-circuiting trying to figure it out. And this line sums up her whole struggle. How could something so ugly, deceit, murder, live inside something so beautiful, a gorgeous palace? She feels completely tricked, like she's been betrayed by the very man she thought she knew. But just as it seems like she's about to turn on Romeo, the scene pivots again, hard. The nurse makes a huge mistake, and it forces Juliet to pick a side. So the nurse, trying to be helpful, curses Romeo. Shame come to Romeo. And that is the trigger. The second she hears someone else speak ill of her husband, something in her just snaps. It's like, wait a minute, I can be confused and angry, but you don't get to talk about my husband that way? And with that one question, everything changes. She remembers her promise, her vows. She's a wife now, his wife. Her loyalty completely shifts and locks into place with Romeo. You have to remember she's been married for what, 3 hours? And in this moment, she chooses her husband over her own family.
And you can literally see her brain working it all out in real time. Step by step, she just reframes the entire situation in seconds. Okay, why did Romeo kill Tybalt? Well, he must have done it in self-defense. If he hadn't, Tybalt would have killed him, so my husband is alive. And her conclusion? All this is comfort. It's an incredible rapid-fire rationalization, and it's all driven by love.
But as soon as that wave of relief washes over her, the relief that Romeo is alive, she remembers the last piece of the news. And she realizes that there's one word in there that's even worse than death. She says there was another word. A word that murdered her. It hit her harder than finding out Tybalt was dead. So what on earth could possibly be worse than that? That word, banished. Not killed, not injured, but sent away, exiled. For Juliet, this is it. This is the ultimate tragedy, the true heart of all her pain. To try and explain this grief, she uses this unbelievable hyperbole. She says that hearing Romeo is banished is as bad as hearing that 10,000 Tybalts were killed. It's a pain so big, it's like finding out her mother, her father, Tybalt, and Romeo were all dead at once.
And that's why this is so awful for her. Banishment isn't just being apart. It's a living death. To know he's out there, somewhere in the world, but she can never, ever see him again, that's a special kind of torture, one that never ends because there's no closure. And so, after riding this entire emotional storm, she lands on one final, desperate action. She has to see him one last time. She gives her wedding ring to the nurse as proof and tells her to find Romeo and bring him to her, so they can say their last farewell. You know, this incredible scene forces Juliet into an impossible corner, and it leaves us with a question that feels just as real today as it did 400 years ago. When the people you love are on completely opposite sides, where does your loyalty lie? How do you choose where you belong?